I don't think it's going to be able to possible to email if you haven't used a computer before. One of our listeners, 76-year-old Fran Taylor, went to a training centre in Maidstone last week. She used the internet for the first time ever. We will find out how she got on. And also, don't forget those bedtime stories. The battle of the bedtime stories. Just go online, type into a search engine Jeremy Vine bedtime stories, you'll find it.
Hi everybody, Jeremy wants to know your favourite bedtime story. You can vote at bbc.co.uk/radio2.
Yeah, and we're fixing our website so the list is going to disappear and you can see it after you voted, which is quite important. We've got 36 bedtime stories out there. bbc.co.uk/radio2.
Faith in the World on BBC Radio 2.
This year, our Faith in the World series looks at growing up with God.
Better answers, and they prayed, than some of our school flunkies.
On Tuesday night, John McCarthy explores the relationship between childhood and faith.
I'm asking how children are being brought up with a religious faith and whether that's a good thing.
While this weekend,
Hello and welcome to Sunday Half Hour.
Brian Darcy looks at how faith is passed from generation to generation. And the series begins with Alec Jones in conversation with former Children's Laureate Michael Morpurgo.
Faith in the World starts Sunday morning from 7, online, on digital, and on 88 to 91 FM, BBC Radio 2.
I was just about to sign off, and I suddenly realised we have another minute on the air. This is fantastic. I can tell you all about everything that's going on in the next few days, but particularly looking at these Royal Mail stories. We've had so many of them today. People with stuff lost in the post, and you would not think with a strike imminent that people would be so severely inconvenienced, but my goodness, the stuff we've been getting. And let's have a look. What do we got here? Avril says, my daughter gets married in 5 weeks' time. More than half of her very expensive invitations have not yet been delivered from more than 5 weeks ago, let alone the replies. It is a nightmare. We're having to call up guests to invite them. And here we are, one more. Alex says you do have a 3D printer. It does exist already. You construct something in a CAD program on your computer and you hook the computer up to a special milling machine. And we're back with computers. If you stick in a block of wood and resin and then you can print something out 100 miles away. Is that going to replace the Royal Mail? Not sure. Steve Wright in the afternoon is on his way. It's Radio 2 online, on digital, on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 2 o'clock. This is Callum May. The BBC has learned that the leaders of the Postal Workers Union are to announce a further 3 days of strikes at Royal Mail next week. Thousands of members of the Communication Workers Union walked out this morning, and further action is scheduled tomorrow. The leader of the British National Party, Nick Griffin, is to appear on the BBC's Question Time programme this evening. It's to be filmed at Television Centre in West London, and protests are expected outside the building. Critics say the corporation has lost its moral compass, but the BBC insists it has a duty to represent the views of all political parties, which attract significant support at the ballot box. The former chairman of the Commission for Racial Equality, Lord Ousley, says the corporation has specific responsibilities.
It is about being aware of what their legal duties are under the Race Relations Act and indeed the Equality Act. The BBC is a public body, it's a public broadcaster, and as such it should have a duty to consider and make known those considerations which contribute to better race relations in this country. And if the decision to invite the BNP onto Question Time has involved such considerations, we need to know what those are.
Ethiopia has asked the international community for emergency food aid, even as it prepares to mark the 25th anniversary of its famine. Prolonged drought is affecting parts of East Africa. More than 6 million people are thought to be going hungry. An inquest in Cardiff has been told how a dog owner was trampled to death by cows who surrounded her as she walked through a field. Anita Hinchy died from multiple injuries. Mark Hutchins reports.
63-year-old Anita Hinchy took her boxer dog for a long walk on the outskirts of Cardiff. With her, as they passed through a field, was her friend Ruth Tugwell, who told the Cardiff inquest that a number of cows appeared curious and started to walk towards them in a semicircular formation. She said as Miss Hinchy tried to pull her dog away, she appeared to trip backwards and was soon surrounded. The coroner, who recorded a verdict of accidental death, was told she suffered multiple injuries. Farmer Peter Davis, who owns the field, said the best reaction was to shoo cows away, and if walking the dog through a field of cattle, always to take it off the lead.
The Land Registry is cutting up to 1,500 jobs and closing 5 offices. Union leaders say the announcement has shocked workers. The government body, which registers all land ownership transactions in England and Wales, is making losses because of the downturn in the housing market. Dame Vera Lynn has urged people to give generously to this year's Poppy Appeal, which for the first time focuses on supporting troops wounded in Afghanistan and the families of those killed there. The poster campaign features the image of a coffin being repatriated from Afghanistan, and speaking at the appeal's launch, Dame Vera said the message was powerful.
We always think of the Poppy Appeal with our veterans, but of course we've got so many young men out there who are fighting and being wounded, and some unfortunately will not be returning home. So it's a very strong appeal that we have this year, not just for the veterans, but for our young boys.
Dame Vera Lynn. BBC News at 3 minutes past 2. Our next is at 3.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Callum, and cheers, Jeremy. Today, Thursday, 22nd of October, 2009, now live till 5. It's the big show. It's Steve right in the afternoon. Hello. Very excitable.
Steve Wright in the afternoon, now playing everywhere.
Trains and boats and planes were passing by. They need a trip to Paris or Rome, to someone else, but not for me. The trains and the boats and planes took you away, away from me. We were so in love and high above. We had a star to wish upon which when dreams came true, but not for me. The trains and the boats and planes took you away, away from me. Trains and boats and planes took you away, but every time I see them I pray, and if my breath can cross the sea, the trains and the boats and planes will bring you back, back home to me.
Tune. Billy J. Kramer, Trains and Boats and Planes. Thursday afternoon, BBC Radio 2. We're online, we're on digital, and we're on 88 to 91 FM. This is Radio 2, and it's The Big Show, look.
The Big Show in the afternoon, live from the BBC.
I've got your weather. Heavy rain for eastern Scotland moving north, then for the rest of the UK, sunshine and thundery showers tonight, breezy, scattered showers overnight, foggy. Today's high is 15. And on the Big Show today, star of Beetlejuice and Batman Returns, Hollywood film star Michael Keaton, and yes, Status Quo will be on. I've got some quo. There's Tim Smith, Jamie Lee Grace, Sally Traffic and Johnny Saunders.